everyone, I'm Marc from Feed the Brain. Very happy to start a new set of videos that we're gonna call Amazing Facts. So let's kick off with 11 amazing facts about Egyptians. In many ways, everyday life in ancient Egypt was surprisingly modern. The ancient Egyptians had a sophisticated education system for those who could afford it and a remarkable understanding of medicine. But that doesn't mean everyday life in the ancient world was easy. The majority of the population was made up of farmers who had to cultivate crops in the grueling heat. Faith played a very important part in their lives. They were an extremely pious people and believed that their food, clothing, and even their makeup were all gifts from the gods. Do you want to really walk like an Egyptian? Let's find out some amazing facts together. They braved dangerous hippos to get around by boat. Ancient Egyptian society depended on the Nile for almost everything. They used it to irrigate their crops, make their clothes, and even move from place to place. The lower class used skiffs, boats made out of papyrus reeds, for their daily commute. More elaborated ships were built from acacia wood to transport the large stones used in the construction of the pyramids. These trips were not always safe. People traveling the Nile had to keep an eye out for hippos and crocodiles. At least one pharaoh, Menes, was reportedly attacked and killed by a hippo. Dr. Benson Arer, a physician and Egyptologist, even speculated that King Tut was also mutilated by a hippo, ultimately leading to his untimely death. They loved and ate beer. The ancient Egyptians not only loved beer, they downright depended on it. Evidence of beer making in Egypt dates back 18,000 years ago. In ancient Egypt, beer was consumed by both children and adults and was a staple, just like bread. While drinking your dinner might not sound appetizing, the beer the ancient Egyptians drank was more like a meal. It was thick and chewy, not too intoxicating, and probably sweet. They loved beer so much that they had several gods and goddesses for it, and they considered Ra, the sun god, to be the creator of beer. They had dentists and gynecologists. Ancient Egyptian medicine was surprisingly advanced. They had specialists in many fields such as dentistry, gynecology, surgery, and autopsy, all usually performed with an element of religious ceremony as well as medical treatments. Healthcare was also apparently accessible to everyone. Even the slaves received medical care. They were obsessed with hygiene and invented deodorant. The ancient Egyptians were known for their cleanliness. They were terrified of illness and correctly made the connection between poor hygiene and disease. They bathed frequently and made soap from animal and vegetable oils mixed with alkaline salts. Both men and women shaved their hair. Gold razors have been found in graves along with tweezers. They also liked to smell good. The Egyptians concocted many different scents using ingredients like lily, myrrh, and cardamom. It is also believed that they created the first deodorant with a combination of citrus and cinnamon. They believed they were thinking with their hearts. Even though the ancient Egyptians understood a lot about anatomy, they weren't always right about the biological functions of organs. They believed that the heart was where thinking occurred. They also believed that it was the center of love, sorrow, and bravery, images that have remained in popular consciousness until modern times. So, what did the ancient Egyptians think of the brain? Not much, apparently. They were throwing out the brain during the mummification process. Children did not wear clothes until they were 6 years old. Although they were naked, the kids wore jewelry such as necklaces and anklets. When children grew up, they wore the same style of clothing as their parents, although the styles depended on their place in the social hierarchy. They were playing board games to pass the time. The ancient Egyptians loved board games, and perhaps the most popular board game of their time was Senet. It is a game made up of 30 painted squares arranged in 3 rows of 10. Each player had pieces that they moved along the board after throwing dice or throwing sticks. The game was so popular that there are paintings showing Nefertari playing Senet. A version of the game was also found in King Tutankhamun's tomb. Both men and women wore lead-based makeup. The men of ancient Egypt did not hesitate to wear a little makeup, especially a lead-based eyeliner. Eye makeup was done by crushing ores, and this resulted in a substance known as kohl. Although it is now widely known that lead is toxic to humans, research has shown that these cosmetics had a high concentration of nitric oxide, a compound that strengthens the immune system and fights disease, which means that this ancient eye makeup potentially helped prevent eye infections. They were mostly vegetarians. Although they lived on the banks of the Nile, the ancient Egyptians did not eat a lot of fish. According to a study published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, the Egyptians had a mainly vegetarian diet. Researchers tested the remains of 45 Egyptian mummies for carbon isotopes and found that their meals were mostly made from wheat and barley. They also ate fruits and vegetables like celery, dates, and garlic. That's not to say they didn't eat meat once in a while. The poor were more likely to be able to eat meat during festivals, while the rich enjoyed the luxury of eating meat more often. Men and women were equal before the law. In theory, the men and women of ancient Egypt were equal before the law. Women were allowed to own and sell property, including slaves and land. They could also sue someone in court and file for divorce. In fact, when the Greeks conquered Egypt, they discovered that Egyptian women had much more independence and civil liberties than Greek women. Education was only for the rich. Education in ancient Egypt was reserved for male children of the upper class like scribes and officials. These boys learned to read and write hieroglyphs as well as mathematics and geography. They could learn other subjects like medicine, history, and the sciences as they grew older. The prince's school was attended by the sons of the pharaohs and other nobles. However, there was a kind of scholarship that allowed exceptionally gifted students to attend the prince's school. That's it for today. Hope you learned some amazing facts about the Egyptians and their way of life. Don't forget to click thumbs up and to subscribe to our channel. Until then, see you very soon. Ciao.